So, welcome to Strange Paths, the podcast where we delve into choose-your-own-adventure style stories. We are your hosts. I am Paul.
I am Stephanie.
Megan.
That's me!
And today, we're going to be reading a story not by R.A. Montgomery.
Oh, no. Last time we ventured down this path, it was no bueno.
It was so no bueno that the audience probably never even heard of it.
Yeah. It's only a legend.
But this story is still one of the Choose Your Own Adventure books, and it is by Shannon Gilligan. It is called Cup of Death.
Cup of Death. I'm excited. Send the picture.
Yep. Sending the cover now.
All right, I want to look at this too. So I've been seeing this out of the corner of my eye for a while. I haven't actually really looked at it. And the red on it is sleeves, but I always was thinking it was boxing gloves, and that made no sense to me.
So what's on the cover?
It is hands outstretched holding a cup. It's yellow, and it looks like a old lemon rind that they hollowed out the face in it.
Yep, someone's really placid face.
Yeah, and there's a car in the background just off-roading super hard.
Well, to me, it looks like it just drove off of a pier.
Yeah, or like this is like getting water out of a waterfall. That cup needs to be fixed, though.
Or maybe what we see at the top is the before, so the car is going into the water, and then in our box here, we have the driver who is trying to use the cup to dump all the water out of the car.
A shitty cracked cup.
It's a family heirloom. Yeah.
Yeah. Or it's collecting urine, like we were talking about before we started recording.
Yeah, because that's what we would talk about. Is collecting urine.
Yeah. I love collecting urine. Gotta have it.
All right. In any case. So should I read the dedication?
I don't know. Is it funny?
No, it's a dedication.
Well, it was funny that one time to me.
Oh. Well, it says, for Mori Takayuki and Mori Sayoko, with affection and gratitude, and for Ray.
And for Ray, you know what you did. Like, why is it separate like that? I love you both. And then also Ray.
Moris are the number ones in her life.
Yeah.
Then Ray's.
And Ray, he's here too.
Yeah. It's like he walked by.
Yeah, he was like standing behind it, like always reading. Oh, and also I guess Ray. I forgot to take it out.
Does she even know Ray, or was she just embarrassed that the only people in her life were two Moris?
Hey, that makes it real easy to keep track of your friends.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, Maury, how's it going? You don't even have to look at who's calling.
Maury!
Beware and warning. This book is different from other books. You and you alone are in charge of what happens in this story. There are dangers, choices, adventures, and consequences. You must use all of your numerous talents and much of your enormous intelligence. The wrong decision could end in disaster. Even what, Stephanie? Even what?
Eels.
No.
Trial by custard.
Death.
That's not where I thought it was going to go at all. I've never heard this before.
I was thinking we were going to go pants shopping or something.
Yeah, it could end in pants shopping?
Yeah, the wrong decision could always end in pants shopping.
I mean, pants shopping sucks, so...
But don't despair. At any time, you can go back and make another choice, alter the path of your story, and change its result. You're spending this school year in Japan.
So we're children again.
Possibly. You could be like one of those old people that returns to school.
Nope, we're kids.
So that you can raise your hand and, like, instead of actually having a question, you just kind of talk about your life for 10 minutes.
Yeah, so whenever I was a young buck, right?
Yeah. You're spending this school year in Japan. On your last day of New Year's vacation, your best friend Kenichi and his brother Takashi.
Right?
Uh-huh. That's
Konnichiwa. All right.
I don't believe it's spelled
international,
like that.
Okay?
I'm pretty sure that's just Japanese.
Well, I'm talking about our podcast.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, Japanese listeners, feel free to correct us. Your best friend Kenichi and his brother Takashi tell you that a famous and valuable tea bowl has gone missing. They want you to help them solve the mystery. You've cracked cases before, but none this dangerous.
Oh my god. Are they forgetting about the trunk murders?
This is pre-trunk murders.
Oh, okay.
It could be. This beautiful bowl, called Yukisu, is a national treasure, so there are lots of people with motive to steal it, including the Japanese mafia, who won't hesitate to whack you should you get in their way.
They're mixing mafias.
Why?
Whack me on the nose.
Well,
The newspaper.
Depends how much you paid.
Yeah. Depends on if there's a newspaper around.
Right. Most importantly, don't forget your number one rule of detective work. What do you think, Megan?
Oh, God. I don't know,
She's not prepared. For me...
Always wash your hands after you go to the bathroom.
Nope. Never wash your hands after you go to the bathroom.
You're both really close. Never trust anyone.
Yeah, because you can't trust their germs, so you have to pee on your hands.
You have to pee on your hands to get the germs off first.
Yeah.
Then you wash your hands because you touched something when you were close to the sink. I don't know.
Let's talk about this more.
All right.
Just always pee on your hands.
100% of the time. Pee on them.
I don't know if that statement's been approved by doctors.
You
This
can
is
have
another
gloves
thing.
full of pee that you tie off.
Oh, yes.
So it's always just like a little pee pool around your hands. It's really relaxing and makes you feel confident. Number
It's
one
like-
rule.
Yeah, it's like body temp.
Page 1.
Why do you want to talk about pee hands?
You're on the couch staring out the window. Another cold gray day. It's January 3rd, the last official day of New Year's celebration in Japan. Your family is spending the year in Kyoto, and even if Japanese school is 3 times harder than school in the United States,
Oh my gosh. Like, I don't doubt it, but it's just like, okay, guys. Even if they're, like, way smarter than everyone. Yes.
I mean,
They are.
would you really be surprised? You'll almost be glad when classes start again in 2 days. Anything is better than a boring vacation. Tring, tring, tring. The triple ring of the telephone interrupts your thoughts. I'll get it, you yell, jumping up. Moshi moshi, you say into the receiver,
Oh my God,
answering
Walt.
Japanese style.
Really?
he's like, I gotta put on all my Japanese gear and then answer Japanese style.
Yeah, he sounds like Robert Chilton from
Oh yeah, he does.
The Man in the High Castle.
He does. He's so in love with all the Japanese stuff.
I'm glad it's you. We need your help. You recognize the voice of Kenichi Doi, your best friend on the other end. What's wrong, Kenichi? Where are you? I can't talk on the phone. I'm at Urasenke, the tea ceremony school where my older brother, Takashi, studies. Takashi and I are in trouble. Can you meet us there? I'll be there right away, you say.
I got nothing else going on.
Well, we were just sitting on a couch.
Just ready to answer the phone Japanese style.
Yeah. You tell your mother that you're going out for the rest of the day. 30 minutes later, you walk down a quiet, tree-lined street and approach the main gate of the world-famous Urasenke school. Kenichi is waiting for you. Follow me, he whispers.
Ew.
Or wait,
It's so alluring.
follow me, he
Ooh.
whispers.
That's not a whisper. That's like a...
Follow me,
Oh my god.
he whispers.
He got so close to the microphone.
You follow your friend along a stone pathway past several buildings, passing under an archway. You enter a simple, stunning garden and continue toward a small hut-like building at the far end. This is the UN tea room, Kenichi tells you quietly. Takashi is inside. Takashi bows as you crawl in through the low door. I'm so glad you could come, he says. Kenichi tells me you solved a mystery once in your own country. I thought that maybe you could help today.
It's like, you solved a mystery once, so you're an expert.
Mrs. Weppel just had a greedy nephew, you protest.
Ew.
Figuring out who stole her husband's coin collection was easy.
Oh my god.
But what's the problem?
I mean, it's no big deal. I did a really good job, but whatever.
Takashi begins. This morning, just before I was about to perform a tea ceremony for 4 extremely distinguished guests,
Your friend is a braggart.
I discovered that the tea bowl I had set out to use was missing. It was stolen, you mean? Kenichi says excitedly. Yes, Takashi agrees. I believe it was stolen. And it wasn't just a common tea bowl either, Kenichi adds. It was a very old and famous bowl, a Shino piece called yukisu.
Dang.
What's a Shino piece, you ask? Shinoware is a type of pottery that has a malted white glaze and tinges of gray or red, Takashi explains.
This is not how children talk to each other.
Yes, it is. They're 3 times smarter than
Actually.
This bowl has grayish blotches near the lip on one side that looks like snow clouds, hence the name. Yukisu means it looks like snow.
Oh my god. Thanks for dumbing it down for a stupid Japanese-style American.
All important tea bowls are eventually named, Takashi adds.
Why are you making them sound so, bratty?
It's just my natural
Yeah, that's just how
speaking
you
voice.
talk.
Yeah.
I'm into it. Keep
Oh,
doing
okay.
it.
Yeah. Takashi adds, some are named after a memorable tea ceremony. Others are named for their distinctive appearance, like Yukisu. Several years ago, Kenichi says, it was made a national treasure. And it's weird because national treasure is capitalized, like the N and the T.
They want it to be the movie.
Oh, okay.
And also, why would you let a national treasure be used by children to practice tea ceremonies?
Well, they're not practicing. They're performing.
But they're still children.
So, they're like 3 times the children we are.
Okay.
Several years ago, Kenichi says, it was made a national treasure. A what, you ask?
What could that mean?
A national treasure, Takeshi repeats. It's a work of art, a screen, a painting, or a tea bowl, for instance. So important to the preservation of ancient Japanese culture and tradition that it can never be taken out of the country. All national treasures are registered at the Ministry of Education up in Tokyo. Their every movement is monitored by someone up at the ministry.
You're just watching it. Just is it going to move? I don't know.
How much is the bowl worth? You want to know. Hundreds of thousands in U.S. money, maybe even more on the black market, says Takashi, looking at the floor. Which is where I'm afraid the bowl is headed.
The floor.
Yeah.
Looking at the floor, which is where I'm afraid it's headed.
How long has the bowl been missing? You ask. Takashi looks at his watch. 50 minutes. The tea ceremony was scheduled for 10:30.
Oh my gosh. 15 minutes, 37 seconds, and 2 nanoseconds.
Also, to be clear, it's 50.
50.
Yeah.
Well, my hearing's all muffled now.
Oh, okay.
They're making me wear fancier headphones.
50 minutes. The tea ceremony was scheduled for 10:30, which is right about the time I noticed that Yukisu was gone. First I called Kenichi, who then called you. I have searched the garden, the hut, and the waiting alcove thoroughly. The bowl is not anywhere. Takashi adds after a pause. I wanted to keep the police out of it as long as possible. A thing like this will make national headlines.
So, call the police.
It will be a disgrace to the school and a great dishonor to my family. The first rule of good detective work is to get all the details straight, you think, as Takashi finishes speaking.
Is that what it was in the morning?
No, it was never trust anyone.
There we go.
But this job sounds awfully big. Maybe it's too big?
How big was it?
If you tell Takashi that it's always important to deal with the police on a case like this, turn to page 9. If you want more information about the 4 guests in the tea ceremony Takashi planned to perform, turn to page 11.
Those options are so weird.
Yeah.
I don't know, Megan, what do you think?
I don't want to hear about his friends.
Yeah, it's and plus they're talking to us so bratty that I'm do I want to just be as much of a stickler as them? Be like, well, we should just call the authorities. Or have to listen to them talk some more.
I want to bring the sexy police in.
Yeah, bring the pain.
Yeah.
Tell them how it's done.
Mm-hmm.
Takashi, The police will be a big help on a job like this. Besides, I'm sure they'll keep the news quiet if you ask them, you say.
Please, please, please don't tell.
Takashi thinks for a moment, then shrugs his shoulders. I suppose you're right. But will you go get them? I don't want to use the office phone yet.
Oh my god.
And it'll draw less suspicion if you go for help instead of me.
I'm just imagining that he's like laying down, like eating Oreos, like, I don't want to get up.
Sure, you agree. You say goodbye to Takashi and Kenichi, find your way back out to the school's gate, and head towards the police box located a few blocks away. The street is quiet except for the black sedan driving slowly along a half block behind you.
Oh.
Why is it going so slowly, you wonder? When you look back, you see that the car is getting closer. An eerie feeling creeps over you, and your palms begin to sweat. Are you being followed? 2 men are sitting in the front seat kissing. And
That's not what it says.
2 men are sitting in the front seat, and they seem to be looking straight at you.
Licking their lips.
If you break into a run, turn to page 16. If you walk up to the phone booth on the corner and pretend to make a call while you get a better look at the black car, turn to page 29.
Or you could just make the call.
Yeah. Or you could just, like, pretend.
Yeah.
Hello,
really
operator.
Let's pretend to make the
Go.
call. That sounds fun.
It's like we're just moving our mouths. We're not making any sound. And just, like, staring heavily at them, like, unblinkingly.
That'd be fitting. It'd be kind of like an old, like, martial or, like, kung fu movie overdub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. When you get to the phone booth and begin dialing, the black car stops and sits idling by the curb. The operator comes over the wire. What number would you like? She says in a polite voice. Urasenke, the tea school, you blurt out, not thinking. Mechanically, you dial the number she gives you, and a woman answers. Urasenke tea school? Hello, may I speak to Takashi Doi? He's out in the UN tea room. Just a moment, she responds. I'll go get him. The minutes tick by. It seems as if it's taking her forever. The black car doesn't move.
What an idiot are you?
The woman finally returns to the phone. I'm sorry, she says, but there was no one in the UN tea room or garden. It was absolutely empty. Although Takashi Doi is scheduled to be giving a tea in there this morning.
Let's see what.
Thank you, you answer. I'll try later. Where could they have gone? Takashi promised he'd stay right there. Something strange, you think.
He would never break his promise.
Even if Takashi had gone off for some reason, Kenichi would have stayed. Ignoring the mysterious black sedan, you run back to Urasenke. You better find out what's going on. It's having me jump around a bit.
Well, it builds excitement.
Yeah. You head towards the tea school gate, but before you get there, Takashi and Kenichi come running up to you. I'm so glad we caught up to you in time, Takashi gasps. Kenichi had a brilliant idea. You turn to Kenichi, who says, before we do anything else, we should go ask Mrs. Hamaguchi from Kamigamo Shrine about the Shino Bowl. Her powers are truly marvelous.
Is she an old sea witch or what? Like, why? Who?
I think Mrs. Gilligan here was expecting that question.
What?
Who's Mrs. Hamaguchi, you ask?
Is she an old sea witch?
She's one of the best fortune tellers in all Japan. She'll be able to tell us where the bowl is. Come on, Kenichi replies. Your friends tear off, and there's nothing you can do but follow. But a fortune teller?
Dude.
You wonder.
I want to go see her. I want to get my fortune told. She's going to tell me I'm going to die.
There's a long line of people at the Kamigamo Shrine waiting for their New Year's fortunes from Mrs. Hamaguchi. It doesn't seem to bother Takashi or Kenichi a bit. They pass the 2-hour wait chatting unconcernedly.
Oh my god. You're supposed to be giving a tea, guys.
Every once in a while, they try to assure you of Mrs. Hamaguchi's extraordinary talents.
It's like, there's like 30-minute stretches of silence, and they look at you like, dude, don't worry, she's good. She's good. It's fine.
Finally, it's your turn. The three of you are ushered into a small building where Mrs. Hamaguchi receives clients. The air is thick with a heavy, pungent incense. Takashi hands an assistant a 10,000 yen note worth about $90. And he lifts the red curtain covering the door to the room where Mrs. Hamaguchi sits. She's surprisingly young and quite friendly. Takashi introduces you and proceeds to relate briefly the events of the morning. As soon as he finishes, Mrs. Hamaguchi reaches over, touches Takashi's crotch, and closes her eyes.
It's just morphing into Tamagotchi now.
Mrs. Hamaguchi reaches over, touches Takashi's arm, and closes her eyes.
Dude, he's a kid. You can't just add that.
She sits for several minutes this way, as if she's meditating. Her eyelids begin to flutter slightly, and when they stop, she opens her eyes. Takashi, I see...
Sounds Italian. Takashi.
I see several ways of getting the bowl back. There was one way over water, and another over land. But the best way for you, I think, is to sit and wait for the bowl to return by itself. The Shino bowl has a strong sense of its own destiny, and it will not fall easily into evil or corrupt hands.
Oh my god.
That's a jive.
It's a bowl. No, you can't touch me. You're bad. I'm gonna spill tea on you.
I see several different people trying to possess the bowl, Mrs. Hamaguchi continues, but another, stronger spirit is watching over it and protecting it. Yes, when the tea bowl, Yukisu, returns to you, it will be imbued with the power and energy of this guardian. It will be an even more splendid tea utensil than before.
It's gonna keep your tea hotter for longer. It's gonna make it smell good. Like what?
Takashi and Kenichi bow low and thank Mrs. Hamaguchi profusely. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get out of that voice. You're too surprised by her pronouncement to do much of anything. When you walk back out of the grounds of the shrine, Takashi asks, "What would you two like to do for the rest of the day?" "Frankly, my stomach could use a little lunch. It will be on me."
What in the world? Like, all right, well, she said to just not do anything, so.
You mean you're just going to give up looking just like that? Just because Mrs. Hamaguchi says so? You ask incredulously. Takashi and Kenichi look at each other in surprise and then at you. "Of course," Takashi says. "What else is there to do?"
Yeah, no joy.
Kenichi puts his arm around your shoulder. "I know this is hard for a Westerner to accept," he says. "But Mrs. Hamaguchi had a very clear reading. I'm sure she was right. Don't worry. Come have sushi with us," Takashi says. "It will make the wait pass more pleasantly."
Sushi.
If you decide to go along with Takashi and Kenichi for lunch, turn to page 92. If you decide that, as long as Takashi and Kenichi feel this way, you can't be of any help and might as well go home. Turn to page 97.
What?
So go have lunch or go home.
This is maybe the most like a boring story thus far. Even like for me who likes tea. It's not holding my interest.
It's just like, all right, well, you can either fuck off to America, back where you belong, you uncultured swine, or you can be chill.
I told him to just go home, And you're...
There's nothing we can do.
So yeah, we can have sushi or go home and say moshi moshi some more.
I like sushi. We're bored at home, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Just get some sushi.
Other than that black sedan, this feels like the most mundane.
Yeah, it's just like
set of events.
It's just a vehicle for them to insult America more and just make us feel bad about ourselves.
"Okay," you say, accepting Takashi's offer. Guess I could use a little lunch myself. The three of you eat your fill of raw fish and rice and walk back to Urasenke afterward. You arrive at the school around dusk. A lustrous blue light bathes the sky, and you can't help noticing how beautiful everything looks when you walk through the garden of the UNT hut.
God.
Ooh.
Sliding back the rear entrance to the hut, Takashi exclaims in a low voice, "Aha!" An old wooden box is lying on the floor. Takashi opens it to reveal a misshapen white bowl, large enough to hold in both hands. The bowl looks rather ordinary at first, but when Takashi pulls it out, the white surface absorbs the lovely blue light of dusk.
I'm rolling my eyes really hard right now. It hurts.
Oh. God.
Takashi hands Yukisu over, and you cradle the bowl gently, mesmerized.
Kiss it goodnight.
It seems to shimmer as if it were a source of light itself. You can easily pick out the snow clouds on its surface.
My goodness, this is the worst.
You don't know how...
He's obsessed with bowls. This guy's like sexually attracted to bowls.
He just discovered his new fetish.
Yeah, he's like, oh God, I just realized bowls, man.
You don't know how long you've been staring at it when Kenichi looks at his watch and says, "Oh my gosh, we're supposed to be at your house for dinner in 15 minutes.
You just got back from sushi.
Let's go." The end.
What?
Ugh. Wow.
That was awful.
I do appreciate that Mrs. Gilligan here kept the theme of sometimes everything works out if you just do nothing at all.
Yeah, like that story where he just like fell asleep a lot. Just like went home. This is just awful.
I mean, come on. I was promised Japanese mafia. There's got to be something more interesting in here.
I mean, like, people in the car didn't even assault us.
Yeah.
So
they were assaulting each other, though.
Go back and like run away from the van in a scary way?
Either that, or we could just say, let's talk about who's going to the tea ceremony or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, I do not want to do that.
Okay. Let's run away from the car.
All right, give me a moment to find where that was, because this one jumped around a bit.
Don't make fun of my laugh.
Okay, so we're going to run away from the black sedan with the men who are totally not kissing in the front seat.
They might be.
They might be.
It gets boring on a stakeout.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. And it gets personal.
And they're just like, you ever thought about kissing a man?
You ever thought about getting kissy?
All right. You start to run, and the black car speeds up behind you. It pulls right up into the sidewalk, forcing you to stop. The man in the front seat flings his door wide open and leaps out. "What do you think you're?" you start to say. But before you can finish, the man grabs you by the shoulder, pressing a nerve.
Oh my God.
You crumple to the sidewalk, motionless.
He did the Vulcan thing, neck thing to you?
Vulcan nerve pinch.
Yeah.
It's Spock. That's cool.
Oh. Okay, well then, so this is going in a space direction.
Yeah. A short while later, you begin to wake up. You're in the black car, and the two men are driving you somewhere. Seeing you move, one of them pulls a syringe from the glove compartment and jabs it into your arm.
Just chop your neck some more. Waste it.
"You won't be able to help your friends find the tea bowl now," he cackles.
You can't help them eat all the sushi anymore.
You're too weak to defend yourself, but before the drug takes effect, you notice the elaborate, grotesque tattoos peeping above the collars on each man's neck. It's the sign of the Yakuza, the treacherous Japanese mafia.
Ooh.
You realize before you pass out again.
Of course you would know. You're obsessed with Japanese stuff.
When you wake up, your head throbs and you feel woozy. You're sitting tied to a chair in someone's library. Books line the walls from floor to ceiling. Outside, you hear the lapping of waves against the shore. Two people are talking in the next room. Are you at the seashore? Or maybe Lake Biwa outside of Kyoto? Suddenly, the two voices get louder. They're having some kind of argument, but you can't make out what they're saying. Then it's quiet again, and you hear the sound of a phone being dialed. Hello, may I speak to Mrs. Oda, please? A gruff male voice barks.
You didn't do it barkingly.
I don't understand. How do you talk barkingly? Hello. Is that closer?
Sure.
All right. After a pause, he continues. Miss Oda, Yoshimoto here. Yukio-chan's boss.
He's like coughing.
It hurts my voice. I know you finished taking care of your son's debts, Mrs. Oda, but there's a reason you might reconsider that position.
What?
The voice
That's not a
says
position.
after a pause.
You're taking care of your son's debts?
Right.
How is that a position?
What kind of reason? The Shino Bowl, Mrs. Oda. We have it. Mr. Hada is on his way to Germany with the fake, I'm afraid. Is the Shino Bowl a good enough reason? So they've got the missing tea bowl, you tell yourself. And whoever this Mrs. Oda is wants it too.
Interesting. I also want it. So they've got something in common, so they can build a relationship.
Oh my god.
Good, Mrs. Oda, the voice continues. I knew you would be reasonable. Bring 50 million yen out to our location on Lake Biwa. Come alone. I will notify my man at the gate to let you through.
My mang. I'm surprised they didn't say like 15,000 whatevers or like
This
12 US dollars.
What they said, didn't they say like a 1,000 yen was $90?
I don't remember. I know it was $90. I don't remember how many yen.
Well, I'm going to say 1,000. And they asked for 50,000.
So they want
Like $500?
not very much.
So yeah, it's not much at all. 50 million yen? That's over $400,000.
Oh.
We dropped some zeros along there.
I'm really good at getting in this writer's head.
Yeah. Is this your pen name, Shannon Gilligan?
I didn't write this. It's too boring.
Okay.
Because I am really good at everything, and I would never write a story this boring.
If you'd like an example of Stephanie's writing, you can listen to our episode Going Ape.
The instant classic.
Yeah. Takashi wasn't kidding when he said the bowl was worth a lot. You've got to escape and get a hold of it before Mrs. Oda does. You hear the people in the next room leave. You're still tied to the chair, but the ropes are loose. You remember from a movie you once saw that if you stand up and wiggle continuously, the rope should loosen enough that you could free yourself.
Oh my god.
It works! In a few minutes, you are padding softly around the room, trying to decide the best escape route. There's the door, but who knows what's beyond? You were unconscious when they brought you in, and you don't remember anything about the rest of the house. The only other way out would be by the window. You look out at the winter remnants of a vegetable garden. At least no one should be hanging around gardening this time of year, you think. And a thick grove of pine trees at the other end. Maybe you could escape through those woods. If you decide to try the door, turn to page 24. If you decide to climb out through the window, turn to page 25.
Okay, well, if I had written this book, I would have made the wrong choice sound really attractive. Like she might be doing.
Or you could be writing a children's book.
Well,
I'm just saying, because I was in her head.
I kind of don't want to give him an opening to talk about gardening and how beautiful it is outside now, so I kind of would like to go into the hallway.
Yeah, let's go in the hallway.
Okay. You walk over to the door and listen. Heavy, rhythmic snores punctuate the quiet. Whoever's supposed to be guarding you has fallen asleep. Opening the door, you carefully step over the sleeping figure curled in front of it.
He's just laying on the ground.
His jacket lies... Sorry, go ahead, Megan.
Oh no, I was just imagining that he's a cute little kitty cat guard.
I got too sleepy. I had too many milk bowls.
Opening the door, you carefully step over the sleeping figure curled in front of it.
Sleeping kitty man. Say it.
His jacket lies partly open, exposing a gun in a holster jutting out from his hip. That gun could be just what you need to get out of here.
Oh my god.
Just then, the snoring guard starts to stir. If you grab the gun and shoot him execution style... Alright, fine. If you try to grab the gun and run off up the hall, turn to page 40. If you think it's too risky to steal the gun and decide to take off before the guard awakes, turn to page 48.
Dude, I don't think we should take his gun.
Let's handle the gun.
Oh, we're on opposite sides, huh?
Yeah. You know what that means.
We're gonna have to fight over the internet.
Yeah.
Ready? Ready for our customary solution?
Uh-huh.
All right. Have I done this before? I feel like I have. I have?
Mm-hmm.
Like just rock, paper, scissors in general in my life?
Yeah.
I don't know if I know how to do this. It's been so long. Okay, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Scissors. Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Paper.
Scissors.
Ah!
Yeah, get the gun, yeah.
All right, we're grabbing the gun.
Why would I choose the thing? I'm so stupid. I'm so bad at rock, paper, scissors.
Well,
I mean, there's no telling what you'd have chosen.
Yeah.
Megan's been practicing.
Yeah, man. Like in the mirror, just like looking into her eyes and like berating herself when she picked the wrong choice.
Yeah.
You didn't pick scissors again, you idiot.
and then whenever I fail, I have to hurt myself with whatever object that I wrongfully chose.
Just like flaying yourself with paper.
Between the fingers.
Oh, God.
Ooh.
Ah.
Too real.
Yeah.
All right. You dart forward quickly and slip the revolver from its holster. The guard turns over. For a moment, you are paralyzed by the fear that he might be waking up. But in a few seconds, his snoring resumes.
Oh.
We didn't have to kill a man. Okay.
You tiptoe up the edge of the hallway where the wood is least likely to creak. Suddenly, you hear voices from around the corner. You have no choice but to duck behind the door immediately in front of you.
We have a choice. We've got a gun.
You find yourself in a room that looks like a storage area for artwork. Scrolls are rolled up and wrapped in their silk coverings. A large antique sake urn sits in a wooden crate in the center of the room, partially packed. Boxes holding vases, incense burners. What?
Sorry.
Should I have said vases?
No.
Yeah. We prefer vase.
Yeah, it's balls.
Boxes holding vases, incense burners, and tea bowls are neatly stacked on shelves along one wall. You wonder if one of them contains the Shino bowl, but you don't have the chance to check. The voices round the corner and come closer. You have to hide, but there's no closet. Where can you go?
Just lay on the ground like a rug.
Yeah.
Suddenly, you have an idea. Lifting up the lid off the large sake urn, you climb
Oh
inside.
my god, dude.
You pull the lid back on, just as the men you heard open the door and walk into the room, right over to the jar you're hidden in.
Why?
You
It's
can-
like they're attracted to you.
You can hear them packing paper tightly between the urn and the sides of the crate. Then they put the crate lid on and nail it in place.
You're dead.
This thing is heavier than I remember it.
Hey.
One of them grunts, hoisting the crate up. Where's the boss selling it? His friends ask. To a dealer in Italy. It's leaving by plane from Osaka tonight.
Oh,
You hear him
nice.
respond.
Italy.
You shiver. Unless you can figure a safe way out of the urn before the plane departs, you're in for a long, cold flight.
Just start shooting.
The end.
Oh, what?
The end?
Unless we can figure out, and then it's just like, sorry, you didn't figure it out fast
Well,
enough.
I really doubt that one of these stories would be like, you pull out your gun and just shoot blindly
I
into
put
the
on
dark.
my cape and my wizard's hat.
We should have pretended to be a rug with a gun.
Dang it! So what? Should we just... What was the... What?
What?
What was the last choice?
Well, your last
taking
choice
the
was
gun?
Not
taking the gun.
Ooh, so I win after all, huh? Is that the one we want to go back to?
I mean, you guys can go back to
We
that.
can go through the garden.
Or you can go through the garden.
I don't know. I guess garden. I like vegetables a lot.
So yeah, I really want him to talk about like gardening or something.
Maybe he'll go on about maize for a long time.
Oh yeah.
Do you think that's an option?
I want to go back down memory lane with that.
Okay. So we've just freed ourselves from wiggling out of the chair, and rather than go to the door this time, we're going to go out the window to the garden. So you tiptoe to the window and yank the latch, but instead of the window, a portion of the bookcase suddenly swings open. There's a staircase behind it leading down to an unlit hallway. Maybe it's another way out.
Dude, no.
Carefully, you descend the stairs.
Are you kidding me? Like, the window is still there.
But the window didn't open.
Yeah, I know, but like, why would you, if you're trying to escape, why would you go down into a dark, unlit place under where the outside is? You know what I mean?
Maybe there's
like horror movie logic.
There could be like a cool teacup or something down there.
Oh yeah, I really want to talk more
or
about
like a
teacups.
spoon. Like a nice spoon.
That's imbued with the power of fire or something.
I feel like this has precedence. I know I've made you play it. Megan, did you ever play Elevator Action on the Nintendo?
No, she didn't.
No.
Okay.
Because she would have played what I had also.
So in Elevator Action, your goal on every level is to steal these like files out of these red doors, and then you ride the elevators down to the basement where your car is waiting.
Well, that's because it makes sense in a building, but like in
you don't know where you are.
I'm in a house by the lake.
It could be a building by the lake.
Well, it is a building by the lake, but I'm just saying there's no elevator. You're going down a creepy... He's just shrugging at me and looking at me knowingly. Who's to say, Jeff? You gotta believe.
Carefully, you descend the stairs, trying to be as quiet as possible. At first, you can't see anything, but as your eyes get accustomed to the dark, you can make out a door on one wall. The hallway continues another 20 feet before veering to the left. If you follow the hallway to the end, turn to page 47. If you try the door instead, turn to page 54.
Oh, I feel like I just want to just see where this hallway goes.
Yeah.
I'm feeling it.
Right, so we're searching
I like
the
its
hallway.
vibes.
The hallway is long, dark, and damp and dank.
It's weird that they said "and" again.
Yeah, that was totally them.
Oh.
At the far end, you come to a set of steps leading to an overhead hatch. It must be some sort of secret escape. You push against the hatch as hard as you can. Finally, it gives, and you find yourself in a boathouse at the lake's edge. It's empty, except for an old rowboat and a large dove-gray motorboat tied up to two of the slips. A closer look tells you that the motorboat does have its keys, but the rowboat won't make any noise when you leave. It might be the safer means of escape.
This is ridiculous.
Either way, you'll be well hidden once you're 30 feet from shore. The famous Lake Biwa fog is rolling in. If you decide to leave by motorboat, turn to page 66. If you decide to use the rowboat to escape, turn to page 61.
I want a rowboat.
Yeah, rowboat. I want to be like Pocahontas.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, let's get in there.
Or like an old sea captain, and he's just like rowing into a fog creepily. I would have near that.
And he's coming over to your house.
Fantasy.
Huh?
This is how rude. I have a rich fantasy life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Full of sea captains of all types.
Yeah, rowing into the mist.
So wait, what's he coming into your house to do, Megan?
He's gonna scoop you up. He's gonna take you to an all-you-can-eat clam buffet. And it's gonna be romantic.
Or he's gonna row you romantically through the fog to a special grotto that he's put candles all over, and then it's like rough beard and stuff.
But can we still have clams?
He's got everything.
Oh, there'll be clams.
Yay.
Yeah. Big time.
I can't. I also would like to suck some oysters off of his beard.
Yeah.
The rough face and the smooth mucus-like oyster together.
Oh yeah, and his disgusting rough seaman's hands.
Oh, seaman's hands.
We are making something that is way more interesting than this book we're reading. Let's see where this goes. This hallway.
Yeah, let's just make it up.
Join in, babe.
I have to be impartial as the narrator.
No, this is a different thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So what do you want to suck oysters off of the sea?
Yeah, what would your semen look like?
Answer. He's getting red and sweaty. He's got a picture in his mind. He's just shy.
Yeah.
He's withholding it. Fine, go back to
Why?
the teaspoon adventure.
Ugh, a fire spoon or whatever.
You slip the oars of the rowboat into the water soundlessly.
Sensuously.
No one seems to notice you go. In a short while, you're completely hidden by the fog. You begin rowing more vigorously, your sinuous muscles straining with each push.
It does not say that.
By the time you notice the water slowly filling the bottom of the boat, you are well out on the open lake.
Aww.
You try turning back in, but unfortunately you don't have a bowl to scoop out the water little by little,
God.
and a strong current carries you out again.
Does it really say that?
No.
Okay.
You have to let me know that you're making it up.
You try turning back in, but a strong current carries you out again.
Oh, God.
Your only chance of survival is to try swimming in, but as soon as you hit the water, you realize that at these icy temperatures, you have a few minutes to live at best. The end.
This is the worst. So what? They want us to take the motorboat and have a high-speed chase?
You could try the motorboat if you'd like.
Does it have a
give it-
gun in it?
Well, no, I don't know.
Are you
Actually,
sure? Because maybe it does. If so,
could.
yeah.
It's probably got a turret.
So we're gonna take the motorboat instead.
Motorboat it.
All right. Making as little noise as possible, you untie the motorboat from the pier and shove off. You turn the ignition key and the engine turns over. Then it noisily sputters out. Oh no! You turn the key again and the same thing
Are
happens.
you serious?
Now they've noticed you up at the house. 3 men with
Resolve. Like
resolvers.
stand removers.
Oh, well, I was saying like they call their guns resolvers because they
Resolve
resolve the
conflict.
situation. Yeah. 3 men with revolvers dash across the lawn. A bullet whistles past you and you
Holy
gulp.
crap! We're a kid.
Yeah.
Let's just remind ourselves of that. They're shooting at a kid.
But he's 3 times a kid.
No, he's not. He's an American.
Oh, right. Well, he's 1/3 a kid, so it doesn't really count.
Oh, he's like an elf.
A bullet whistles past you and you gulp. But you can't let your fear slow you down. You pull out the choke and try starting the boat one more time. It's boat terms.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Roarn! It purrs to life.
Roarn?
VRRROOORN.
Roarn.
Hiya! It purrs to life. Just before the first rifle shot is fired from the roof of the house, you slam the boat into forward and disappear into the mist. As soon as you're safely out of range, you realize you don't know the first thing about Lake Biwa's
My
layout.
freaking lord.
And it's not helping that you can't see further than 50 feet ahead because of the fog. 40 minutes later, you've used up half a tank of gas, and you still haven't spotted a shoreline. The fog drifts clammily around you.
Oh, I like clams.
You keep hearing eerie splashes from invisible birds.
What?
Your fingers.
How do you know it's a bird?
You know, invisible birds in Japan.
Yeah, like that's the thing.
Yeah. Your fingers and toes are getting numb from the cold. Nervously, you eye the gas gauge. If your luck doesn't change, you're not going to last very long.
Is our luck gonna change? Paul, is it?
Just when you're on the verge of despair, a small marina looms into view. It's a lakeshore patrol office. You tie up the boat and burst into the office. A dozing patrolman jerks awake. I've just escaped from a Yakuza hideout further up the lake. They've stolen a famous tea bowl from Urasinke in Kyoto, and they're going to sell it this afternoon. You have to help me get it back, you gasp to the man on duty. Immediately, he calls all patrolmen in the vicinity to report to his office at once. He also calls down to the main police station, Otsu, to notify them of your report. Turning to you, he says, "We've known that there was a Yakuza headquarters on the lake for some time, but we weren't sure where it was. You might help us crack the mystery. Here's the map of the shoreline in either direction for 30 miles. Those small squares, the houses on the lake. Can you pinpoint the general vicinity? You study the map for several minutes. In the meantime, 6 more patrolmen arrive in their boats. Here, you shout, pointing. Right here, near those 3 small islands. I passed them when I wasn't more than 500 meters out. The patrolmen crowd around to look where you point. One of them drums his fingers on the desk. All of them are silent. Finally, someone says, That's the summer house of Michio Maruyama, the big industrialist from Tokyo. It's boarded up this time of year. Are you sure this is where you were?
Oh my gosh, please don't make us say for sure.
Yes, you answer, staring at the map one more time. Those are the only islands on this whole map. I'm sure that's where I was. The head officer says, Well, we'll check it out. Any lead at all? Let's go. A half hour later, you emerge from the thick fog 30 feet from the sandy beach, the edge of the Maruyama's property. It's the same house, all right, but something's changed. The windows are shuttered, and the small rowboat in the boathouse has disappeared. You and the patrolman get out to walk around the house, but there's no sign of life anywhere. No one's been here in months, one of the men says. Sorry, kid. But I'm positive that this is the place. I took the motorboat from that slip right there, you say. I wouldn't be surprised if you did, the officer tells you gently. Now you know how hard it is for us to catch the Yakuza. Sometimes they just disappear like smoke. The end.
Mysterious smoke. I hated that. It's like no matter what we do, we're just like garbage teen. They're stupid little kids, and we can't do anything.
You know, I think that was the moral of the story the whole time.
Yeah, we're just garbage.
Yeah, that was the moral. Yeah.
Garbage, stupid kids can't do anything, so just do nothing, and it will be solved.
Yeah, it'll be solved, and the like grown-ups who know what they're doing will do it.
Exactly.
How did we get the bowl? Like, how did the bowl come back?
It was in a box.
Oh.
Yeah.
That doesn't explain it. That doesn't answer my question at all. Like, if they can't find them, like the Yakuza, then where did the bowl come from?
FedEx.
It just found its way back.
You.
Yeah,
It doesn't want evil people to touch it.
I think, what was her name? Osha?
The witch lady? The sea witch?
Yeah, the fortune teller. I think she took it.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
But she didn't realize it was a big deal. And so whenever you come and like talk about it, she's like, oh man, I gotta return. Do nothing. It will be fine. It will be returned. Go eat sushi away from where you lost it.
Yeah. Don't go back. I mean, not for like a couple hours.
And then as soon as you left, she closed shop and went and returned it.
She just made a quick call.
Yeah.
Guys, some kids are looking for it, okay? It's a big deal. You said it wasn't, but it is.
Or that's her way of earning $90 American. Stealing stuff and then returning it.
Stealing national treasures.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And Nicolas Cage didn't show up once.
He was in the background. He was like one of the sushi guys.
Yeah, he's always there.
Yeah.
Whenever there's Japanese kids around, he's there. Right?
Sure.
Is that what he does?
Is that what he's known for?
That's one of the rumors about him.
Yeah, he just loves kids. I'm so sorry, Nicolas Cage. I'm just like, I can't care about this story because it is just awful.
Well, it's like, it's an interesting setting, but the setup is weird because it's like, why should I care this much about a bowl?
Yeah. And then, like, everything we do is like, oh, well, you're crappy. I think I'm fine with us just disappearing into the mist right now.
Yeah.
What, drowning in the lake?
Yeah.
That's your canon.
Well, that's
ending.
where the boat went. All they have to do is just go, like, look in the water, and it's sunk in there. The rowboat.
Oh, okay.
Because it had holes in it, apparently.
Oh, that's true. That. Well, maybe they knew about the hole, though. Like, that was its defense. Wait. If it was tied to the slip and it had a hole in it, why wasn't it just sunk at the
Because stupid crap kids hadn't tried to row it yet to safety.
Yeah.
Maybe like we're so rotund that we weighed it down to where the hole was actually catching water.
Yeah.
Or we're wearing cleats.
Yeah, because we're stupid.
Yeah. Well, we're like pow Western American with our cleats and cowboy hat.
Yeah. Big belt buckle.
Yeah.
Like a Western just means Texan, which means you're insulting the other two people on this podcast with you.
Were you thinking about spurs, or do you think that cowboys wear cleats?
Yeah, Paul, do you know anything about Texas?
I mean...
Don't mess with it, for one.
Oh, okay. Anyway.
He doesn't want to say that that's what he thought cowboys were.
Uh-huh.
Because you dig the cleats into the horse, right?
Mm-hmm. So thank you for listening. If you have any questions or comments for us, you can always email us at strangepathspodcast@gmail.com.
Or our Twitter is @strangepathspod. And then...
yeah, you can email me specifically with unrelated questions. They can be as frightening as possible at bozosglowglobes@gmail.com.
Yeah, maybe you have an idea for that weird captain fantasy.
Oh, yes!
With the clams.
Send us your captain. What do you want to eat clams off of?
Yeah, send me all your ideas.
Get weird with it.
I'm worried about this one.
Why do you want to hear about the clams?
So thanks for listening. And we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.